So what I want you to do is take a moment and think about that. Look at all those numbers. And I want you to give me some observations, and I'm going to show you kind of how this works. In just a moment, I'm going to turn you loose. And what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you double click on the screen, and Jenny, if you want to just shout out loud, some people will put stuff in there for you. But if you double click on the screen, you'll get a Post-it note.
Yep.
And you can change colors and all that kind of stuff. And what I want you to do is just type in one observation per Post-it note. And what did you notice? What do you observe from that study? If you were writing the results of that study, longitudinal study, what are some of the things that you'd observe? So
I'm going to wait because I actually teach education courses. And so I basically know the answer to some extent as to why this happens.
Okay.
So I'm going to let other people answer before I start typing.
Nobody can see what you're writing really, unless they
until you hit the enter. But
yeah,
well, that's true.
So you think about what happens there, and there's a lot of things. A lot of people don't cite this study, but they cite the study without citing the study when we're talking about both practicality and creativity. What does this have to do? Obviously, it's about creativity, but what does it also say about practicality?
that it works against it.
Yeah, type it in there. What works against it?
The education
Practicality
system.
yeah, they work against each other. They don't complement each other. Yeah.
And I can't, I could type a small dissertation, but, and I can't get it all typed in here. The way our schools are structured is that we are teaching facts and they are right or wrong, rather than giving children the freedom to explore what's interesting to them. And we are trying in education to go in a different direction, but right now it is the sage on the stage in public schools. So children aren't getting the freedom to think, and that gets worse the older you get. And then you go get a job.
And make sure that you're posting your thoughts one per Post-it while we've got time in there, Jennifer, because it's all great stuff. But yeah, it's what happened with these 4 and 5 year olds is they went to school. Mm-hmm. And this is like Ken Robertson kind of famously said, we don't learn creativity, we unlearn it through education. And the other piece is that we learn to be practical. We learn to implement, we learn to get stuff done in school, and it has to be the right stuff, is what the teachers are looking for. Yeah. And so it's that scale of, as we unlearn that freedom, we unlearn that creativity, we are learning the skills around productivity. And that's what's emphasized in the school system. And that's why there's certain people, especially the practical people, tend to excel in traditional school. And the creative people tend to be very frustrated by that kind of a structure. And my observation is that there's some great teachers out there who are trying to feed that creative spirit. But because of the overwhelming history and just momentum of the education system, it's really hard for kids to let themselves do that, especially parents of kids of 8-year-olds, that sometimes I just want you to get it done. And when they're, exploring different things and not doing the reading they're supposed to, it gets frustrating for a parent. So to excel in schools, oftentimes it means that you have to ignore and lose some of that creative spirit.
And one of the things that in early childhood research shows is that the response the adult gives to the young child's creative endeavors can either foster their creativity or thwart it. So if we are talking about mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, look what I did. Oh, that's a pretty horse, but it's not a horse. Then the child's like, I did it wrong. So they begin to internalize that and they begin to want to please the adult. The same thing is true. Well, that's beautiful, honey.
Yeah.
Well, mommy likes it because it's beautiful, rather than talking to the child and saying, ooh, tell me about your painting. Tell me about your artwork. Tell me about it. Why did you choose that color? Rather than kind of pulling that out. It's pretty and it's a dog, even if it's not a dog, because I think it was a horse the first time, so that whole idea that how we as adults respond to children's creative endeavors is, oh my gosh, you have made a mess. Or,
Yeah.
wow, tell me what you did.
And it's one of the things that we walk away from is this either or approach, and that you're developing. We often view ourselves as I'm creative or I'm practical, and we think that those are they're set. And I think there are attributes. There's things that some people are naturally creative, some people are naturally structured and practical, but there's also habits. There's ways that these can change. And what I want to do is